In this module, you will be learning about the role of functional foods and nutraceuticals in management of the dreaded disease, that is cancer. The prevalence of cancer is on the rise all over the world, and in each geographical region, a certain type of cancer is predominantly prevalent. Cancer is such a disease that, if undiagnosed and not treated, is fatal and can be very exhaustive for the patient, for the family, and the treatment itself is very painful and also very expensive. Now, this particular disease can be prevented to some extent, particularly the diet related cancer. In this module, you will learn about how the process of carcinogenesis itself occurs and what are those chemicals or the magic bullets that are present in the food that can be helpful to mitigate or prevent the occurrence of this disease. And once a person has been diagnosed, how functional foods can be used in better management of the outcome of the disease and the treatment both. And thirdly, you will also learn about how the nutraceuticals or the supplements are also available which have the anti-cancer effects. Since the use of functional foods and nutraceuticals are meant for managing a dreaded disease like cancer, their efficacy and safety testing have to be done and they have to be approved by each nation's food regulatory authority. In this module, you have learned about the steps that are involved in the process of carcinogenesis and the definitions of the foods that can prevent cancer and the active chemicals which are known as chemopreventers. These chemopreventers can be anti-mutagens, they can be anti-carcinogens or have a dual role of both anti-mutagenic and anti-carcinogenic activity. According to the United States Department of Agriculture Research Service, USDA ARS, functional foods should produce physiological benefits and or reduce the risk of chronic disease, that is, they should possess properties beyond their known nutritional functions. These foods may be similar in appearance to conventional food and may be consumed as part of a regular diet. Nutraceuticals. These are the chemicals that are found as natural component of a food or other ingredients that may help a human body in preventing or treating one or more diseases or improve physical performance. Essential nutrients can be considered as nutraceutical if they provide benefit beyond their essential role in normal growth or maintenance of human body. They may be capsule, powder or some other form taken in smaller quantities, as they may be active ingredients and sometimes fall in the gray area between food and drug. Designer food is a term coined in the year 1989 by National Cancer Institute, and it is used to describe the foods that contain naturally or they may be enriched with cancer preventing substances. These phytochemicals may be biologically active plant derived substances such as flavonoids, carotenoids, etc., which are considered to have beneficial effects on human health. The phytochemicals are present in plants and they are classified under many categories depending on the nature, for example like phenols or phytosterols. These are also called as phytonutrients because they contribute to good health, but unlike the essential nutrients like proteins, carbohydrates, fat, minerals, vitamins, they are not required for sustenance of life, or their absence does not produce any deficiency symptoms or disease. Some of the phytofoods are tomatoes, flaxseed, soy, broccoli, citrus fruits, allium vegetables, fruits like grapefruit, berries, green tea and some nuts. These phytochemicals have many beneficial properties. Almost all of them have antioxidant property. and they are known to boost the immune status and cell-to-cell communication, enhancing body's defenses to work more effectively. Phytochemicals may alter the estrogen metabolism, induce cancer cells to die, that is, they induce the apoptosis, repair the DNA damage caused due to exposure to xenobiotics, toxicants, and other cancer-causing agents. They also stimulate the protective enzymes in the body. Some of them have hypoglycemic, hypocholesterolemic, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory activities. The carcinogenesis or the cancer process results in disease called as cancer, and it's one of the major cause of mortality affecting humans of all age and gender. There can be cancers even in infants and children. It has a multifactorial etiology and process of carcinogenesis, and the rate of cell multiplication varies from type to type of cancer, also depends on the tissues or the cells involved. Diet is one of the sources of mutagens, carcinogen, as well as anti-mutagens and anti-carcinogens. Mutagens are those which induce a mutation at a particular point in the host cell DNA. This stage is known as initiation. The cell may remain in that state for a long time, depending on number of factors including host susceptibility and nutritional status, exposure to xenobiotics concomitantly. Infections and genetic predisposition also plays an important role. The mutated cell can be repaired by DNA repair enzymes in the body, or may proceed to multiply at a rapid rate without control, resulting in cancerous tissues. This stage is known as progression. The disease then may spread to other organs from the primary center, and this stage is known as the metastasis. In India, 8 lakh new cancer cases are added per annum. In the males, the oral cancer followed by lungs, and in the females, the cervical cancer followed by breast cancer tops the list. At least 30% of the cancers can be avoided by following proper diet. Chemo preventers in the diet. The nutrients and non-nutrients in the diet can modulate the process at every stage. Plant-based foods are rich in phytochemicals which can act as chemopreventers. These agents act by inducing the protective detoxification enzymes in the body, or by blocking or suppressing the action of mutagens and carcinogens. They can act at all steps of carcinogenesis, namely initiation, promotion, and progression. The chemopreventers also have antioxidant properties and prevent the oxidative damage in the body. Oxidative damage occurs by exposure to xenobiotics, chemicals, and other pollutants that are present in the diet as well as present in the environment. Here, the functional foods are of immense use. So, let us see how functional foods inhibit process of cancer or carcinogenesis. Functional foods, nutraceutical, dietary supplement, natural antioxidants all have been established for their potential role in the protection of human health against chronic diseases including cancer. Regular consumption of these foods can be used to combat and prevent disease. For this, they have to be proved for their safety and efficacy. Although for a significant number of nutraceuticals and functional foods, efficacy has been demonstrated, a large number of supplements are still surviving on false claims. Therefore, there is a need for regulation by government regulatory bodies. Let us see now how different foods can act as cancer preventing agents. These are the naturally present foods, or that is consumed by the humans. For example, let us take the case of cereals. Cereal grains are primary source of human food that can be used for cancer prevention. Commonly consumed cereals are the rice, wheat, and minor millets. The consumption of whole grain has been associated with reduced risk of some cancer and cardiovascular disease as well as type 2 diabetics. But the unprocessed form of cereal should be consumed. Lunasin is a novel cancer preventive anti-inflammatory cholesterol reducing peptide that is found in some cereals like barley, rye, wheat. Oat contains the highest and the most stable lunasin level of 0.196 mg per gram of grain. Fermentation by lactic acid bacteria of the whole wheat and barley as well as rye flour increase the concentration of lunasin, which suggests new possibilities for the formulation of functional foods. The beta-glucans belong to a group of polysaccharides present in cereals such as barley and oats, and their anti-cancer effects were demonstrated by in vitro and in vivo experiments. Wheat bran has various bioactive compounds such as polyquinones, phytosterols, phenolics, triterpenoids, having enormous nutraceutical properties like anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, anti-allergic, antioxidant, anti-atherogenic, antimicrobial, antithrombotic, antiviral, cardioprotective and vasodilatory effects. Rice, or botanically known as Oryza sativa, is eaten by people from all over the world as source of carbohydrate. The brown rice, which has the same amount of bran covering, is rich in the nutrients and bioactive components and hence may be considered as functional food. Consumption of brown rice may be associated with beneficial health effects, namely anti-cancer, anti-hypertension and anti-diabetes. The pigmented rice or the red rice contains flavones, tannins, phenols, sterol, tocopherols, gamma-oryzanols, amino acids, GABA and essential oils. The red rice therefore has anti-tumor, antioxidant, anti-atherosclerosis, hypoglycemic and anti-allergic properties. Rice bran is rich in bioactive phytochemicals such as ferulic acid, trypsin, gamma-oryzanol, beta-cytosterol, tocotrienol, tocopherols and phytic acid, and therefore can be used as a source of ingredient to incorporate to prepare functional food. Cycloarsenal ferulate in rice bran has shown inhibitory effect on growth of human colorectal adenocarcinoma cell line. Total proanthocyanidin is very high in rice bran and it may have a beneficial effect against cancers such as leukemia, breast, lung, liver, cervical, stomach and colorectal. Extracts of the red rice showed cytotoxic and pro-apoptotic effects on MCF cell line, suggesting that it could be a potential functional food that can be protective towards breast cancer prevention. Rice husks should be further studied for use in health promotion and products therefore can be made out of it. The total phenolic content was related to the antioxidant activity and total fatty acid content, particularly the linoleic acid. Barley, Hordeum vulgare, is high stable in content in soluble dietary fiber, which is significantly has the potential to reduce the risk of serious chronic diseases including colorectal cancers, type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Since it has contents of beta-glucan, soluble non-starch polysaccharides, protein and low starch content, it could be suitable functional food products aimed at cancer prevention. The content of tocotrienols, which has anti-cancer effects in barley, are 910 mg, and next is the rice 465 mg per kg, oat 210 mg per kg, maize 200 mg per kg, wheat germ oil 189 mg per kg and rye 92 mg per kg. Germinated barley foodstuff has not only shown anti-tumor effects in rat model of azoxymethane induced colon cancers, but also effectively reduces the risk of colitic cancer, which prevents colitis related dysplasia, an inflammatory change in chronic and subacute colitis models by modulating the intestinal environment as a prebiotic. Barley is also a good source of beta-glucan, arabic-xylans, phenolics, flavonoids, anthocyanins, vitamin E, lutein, zeaxanthin, lutein and zeaxanthin put together and act with other bioactive compounds against the cancer causing agents or toxic effects due to xenobiotics. The proto-catechol-aldehyde is a polyphenol which is found in barley, and it showed anti-cancer effects in human colorectal cancer cell line. Leucine, which is a unique 43 amino acid peptide in barley, can play an important role in cancer prevention in barley consuming populations. Barley grass powder holds a promise to be used as a functional food to optimize the health of diabetic as well as cancer patient. This picture shows some of the cereal products that have anti-cancer effects. Legumes. Several classes of anti-carcinogens have been identified in soya bean, including the protease inhibitors, phytosterols, saponins, phenolic acids, and phytic acid. The two principal isoflavones, namely genistein and iodine, present in high concentrations in soya bean, are known to modulate diseases like osteoporosis, breast and prostate cancer. These two are the hormone-dependent cancers, the menopausal symptoms in women. Soya isoflavones also possess the hypocholesterolemic effects, and soy protein at 6.25 gram with minimum concentration of 12.5 milligram of total isoflavone, which is equal to 25 gram of soy per day, is required to qualify an individual food to bear the health claim. Oil seeds are again important category of foods which have chemopreventers. Topping the list is the flaxseed. Flaxseed among all the oil seeds has got a essential fatty acid which none of the vegetable oils have got, except the fish oils. They are rich in omega-3 fatty acid. Now the flaxseed oil or the linseed oil contains 57% of omega-3 fatty acid, which is one of the essential fatty acid in the human nutrition and is also known as the linolenic alpha-linolenic acid. Flaxseed is also rich source of lignans and mammalian lignin precursors. The two important mammalian lignans, enterodiol and its oxidation product enterolactone, are formed in the intestinal tract by bacterial conversion of plant lignan precursors. Enterodiol and enterolactone have been shown to exert weak estrogenic and anti-estrogenic activities, as they are structurally similar to both naturally occurring and synthetic estrogens. Due to this property, they may play a role in the prevention of hormone-dependent cancers. But there are no epidemiological data to support this hypothesis. Evidence in experimental animal is also scanty in this regard. Flaxseed powder fed to rodents have been shown to decrease tumors of colon, mammary gland and lung. Regular consumption of flaxseed therefore has been shown to reduce the total LDL cholesterol as well as inhibit platelet aggregation. This figure shows some of the commonly consumed nuts that are taken by humans and which have got health benefiting properties. There are a number of vegetables that are eaten by us and they all have cancer preventing property. Bitter gourd is widely consumed and it's a medicine as well as a functional food used in the traditional practice of medicine in Southeast Asian countries. It has bioactive compounds such as total phenols, flavonoids, saponin, all of which have strong antioxidant activity as well as free radical scavenging action, thereby preventing the oxidative damage. Bitter gourd consumption can be effective preventive therapeutic agent for prostate, breast, colon, adenocortical cancers. Therefore, it might be very beneficial and can be considered as potential functional food. Next comes the allium vegetables. These vegetables have been correlated with negative risk for cancers of several sites, namely the oral, pharyngeal, esophageal, stomach, colorectal, laryngeal, breast, ovarian, prostate, and renal cell cancers. The reduced risk of prostate cancer is associated with allium vegetables including garlic, onions, scallions, chives, leeks, etc. Garlic is also rich in several sulfur-containing compounds like diallyl sulfide, diallyl methyl sulfide, diallyl disulfide, trisulfide, and so on. These are promising candidates for breast and skin, colorectal, as well as prostate cancers. Onions might be useful for preventing breast, colorectal, laryngeal, ovarian cancers. The phytonutrients in allium stimulate the activity of protective enzymes in the liver. This figure shows some of the commonly consumed fruits and vegetables, which are rich in phytonutrient and chemopreventers. The cruciferous vegetables, namely the cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, mustard greens, Brussels sprouts, have generated a lot of interest as dietary constituents that may protect many types of cancer. The high intake of cruciferous vegetables, particularly the broccoli and the cabbage, was inversely associated with the risk of breast, colorectal, colon, prostate, as well as in bladder cancer in humans in many epidemiological studies. Higher intake of cruciferous vegetables was also associated with lower risk of lung cancer. These vegetables have high amount of glucosinolates, which predominantly are the allyl isothiocyanate and indoles. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, which may be considered as a dietary supplement, and the color of the carrot is due to the beta-carotene. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, and they have been implicated to reduce the risk of hormone-based cancers like prostate and breast. Active chemical present in tomato is the lycopene, which is sold as a nutraceutical. It has been inversely associated with the risk of myocardial infarction, probably due to modulation of the cholesterol metabolism. It has been shown in those who consume tomato products 10 or more times per week, there was 1/2 the risk of developing advanced prostate cancer, as shown in a prospective cohort study conducted on 47,000 men. The risk of developing breast, digestive tract, bladder, cervix, and the skin, lung have been reported to be inversely correlated with serum and tissue levels of lycopene, and this may be attributed to the antioxidant property of lycopene. The green leafy vegetables all contain carotenoids, polyphenols, chlorophyll, strong antioxidant, and can prevent oxidative damage occurring in the tissues. Citrus fruits. Epidemiological studies have reported that citrus fruits have protective effect against certain types of cancers. Oranges, lemons, limes, grapefruits are rich sources of nutrients such as vitamin C, folate, and fiber. Citrus fruits are particularly high in a class of phytochemicals which are known as limonoids. The protective effect of limonene on development of cancer has been reported in the literature. The limonene has been reported to be effective against both spontaneous and chemically induced tumors in rodents, has little or no toxicity in humans, and hence limonene can be used as a nutraceutical. The metabolite of limonene is perylyl alcohol, which is also a cancer preventer, and this perylyl alcohol is also found in perilla seeds, which is eaten commonly in the northeast. Dairy products. Dairy products are those foods which are the best sources of calcium, which is not only an essential nutrient that can prevent osteoporosis, but also reduces the risk of colon cancer. In addition to calcium, fermented dairy products are also rich in their content of probiotics. There is sufficient evidence supporting the role of probiotics in reducing the risk of cancer, particularly cancer of the colon. This may be due to the lactic acid bacteria that modulate the activity of fecal enzymes like the beta-glucuronidase azoreductase, nitroreductase, which all play an important role in the detoxification of the cancer causing agents or the carcinogens. Besides the probiotics, the fermentable carbohydrates or the prebiotic encourages the growth of beneficial gut biota. The prebiotics are the non-digestible food ingredients including the starches, dietary fiber, non-absorbable sugars, sugar alcohols, and oligosaccharides improve the gut health of the host. Of these, the oligosaccharides have been researched vastly for their health benefits. The oligosaccharides are present naturally in many fruits and vegetables including banana, garlic, onion, milk, honey, artichokes. A mixture of pro and prebiotic is known as symbiotic, and many symbiotic products are available in the market. Coming to the beverage category, tea is one of the most popularly consumed beverage in the world and is rich in its content of polyphenol, which forms about 30% of total dry weight of fresh tea leaves. Among the polyphenols, catechins are the most predominant and the most significant. The four important groups of catechins present in the green tea are the epigallocatechin 3 gallate, epigallocatechin, catechin 3 gallate, and epicatechin. Green tea polyphenols are strong antioxidants, and regular consumption of green tea is associated with low risk for cancers of esophagus, stomach, bladder, kidney, urinary tract, colon, rectum, uterus, prostate, liver, lung, breast, pancreas, and skin. The active principle present in green tea is polyphenol known as the epigallocatechin gallate. In an epidemiological study, it was documented that among the regular green tea consumers, there was 40% reduction of risk for cancers of breast, prostate, or ovary. Coffee drinking was correlated to risk reduction for the liver cancer. Consumption of caffeinated coffee was negatively correlated with oral pharyngeal cancers and also with mortality as such. Wines and the grapes. Red wine contains high amount of trans resveratrol, a phytoalexin which is found primarily in the grape skins. This resveratrol possesses estrogenic properties which may explain to some extent the cardiovascular benefits due to wine consumption by women. Resveratrol has been also shown to inhibit the carcinogenesis in vivo. The herbs and the spices are the dietary components that are rich in phytochemicals but taken in smaller quantities. These phytonutrients have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and many other beneficial effects, and many of them are used all over the world in the traditional medical practice of various ailments. Some of them are coriander, basil, thyme, oregano, parsley, lemongrass, rosemary, etc. Spices like turmeric, ginger, clove, cinnamon, mustard have active chemical constituents that have anti-cancer activity. The spices and their active principles present in them induce the detoxification enzymes that help in detoxification of cancer, including chemicals, and sometimes can also structurally deactivate them. Safety issues. The risk-benefit analysis to individuals and population must be done prior to recommending a particular functional food. For example, is it risky to recommend the increased intake of compounds, example, isoflavones, as it has estrogen-like activity? Soy phytogens may behave like the double-edged sword, and it has been reported that genistein may actually promote certain type of tumors in animals. In light of these findings and also the knowledge of toxicity of functional food components when consumed at high level versus the benefit, it must be analyzed before making the recommendations. In this module, you have learned about the steps that are involved in the process of carcinogenesis and the definitions of the foods that can prevent cancer and the active chemicals which are known as chemopreventers. These chemopreventers can be antimutagens, they can be anti-carcinogens, or have a dual role of both anti-mutagenic and anti-carcinogenic activity. There are number of foods that can be used in the population who are at high risk for developing certain cancers, and they would benefit a lot by taking a proper combination of diet in order to prevent the occurrence of this disease, particularly if they have certain predisposing factors or a genetic background and so on. Of course, the food manufacturing companies should get the necessary approval and also follow the regulatory guidelines that are enforced by the authorities in different nations.